Okay, so hi there. Good evening. My name's Will, and I'm going to be going over my dissertation project, which is going to be relating to my management course. So, going to be looking into the background of basically the basics of what I'm going to be looking into. Is looking into why it's essential for youngsters to participate in sport. So, I'm going to be looking into what we can do to increase sports participation. Why is it so important for people, especially youngsters, to participate, and what is the factual information, and how we can benefit the country and how we can benefit the economy by participating in sport, and how it can help so many children in the UK especially. And we can look at what strategies are already in place and how they're created by managers from not only sporting clubs but also community clubs, which is what I'm going to be looking into as well. So I'm going to be and also thinking of strategies of how to increase sport participation from those who are not particularly interested in going to a high level in sport. And the main thing is for looking into reasons for not participating in sport. So eventually we can think of strategies that can overcome these issues. So just looking at a bit of research for now, looking into Sport England. So in 2018, they just did throughout the year they did a 12-month increase of four. They had a 12-month increase of 498,000 of people participating in sport, which is a big increase, but it's not really the levels we want to see because we still have a quarter of the population from the UK are doing less than 30 minutes a week of exercise. So it's currently affecting the economy by doing that. It's affecting our NHS. It's affecting how people, especially young people, can be affected from behaviours and how because obviously participating in sport helps your social behaviours, helps with so many things in your life. So that's why I'm looking into the subject, thinking of how we can increase sports participation, especially from youngsters, so youngsters can maintain that sport participation going into adulthood. So looking into the community sports clubs, which I'm going to be looking into, that's basically in knots. So I'm going to be looking into active knots, and going over the strategy which they're doing, which they're trying to implement in 2021, is try to implement strategies for community sports clubs in Nottinghamshire to try to basically market the sport participation a bit better, improve it, to make it look more appealing to those who enjoy sport, who are looking for facilities which isn't really that expensive and it's more accessible. And obviously Bad Boys Boxing Gym as well, which is basically within a mile radius of active knots. So looking into how people can try a different sport, like boxing, it's a very physical sport, and also it's a very social sport as well. Even when you're punching each other, it's very social. So, but next of all is just looking into my primary research. Let me just move my face over towards the left side so you can see what I've done. So looking into the primary research, I'm basically looking into mainly participation, why it's important to increase sport participation, what strategies have already been done, what factors there are for people not being able to participate in sport or why they just don't want to. Looking into what gyms, sports clubs and public spaces can do to make it look more attractive. Looking into Satellite Clubs Guide, which is actually a useful strategy which has been recently introduced for people who are basically in secondary school going into college to do A levels. So how they can maintain doing the sports, how they can continually do sport and make it more accessible into adulthood, and looking into how much it costs the NHS for physical due to reasons of physical inactivity, and how basically we can keep active every day, and how it will benefit the economy. So key results. Let me move my face over one more time so you can see the results. So looking into results, we have the philosophy of sports participation policy, and they only really support elite competition, and this limits the accessibility for everyone else for sporting activities. That's why I'm looking into mainly community sports clubs, and the reason why I'm looking into that is because of how the government can create policies to make it more accessible to those who don't really want to make it to a high level. Going to be looking into the key results from Rowe, who did some research, was looking into psychological factors such as intimidation, self-confidence, self-identity, and how it hugely negatively impacts the levels of sporting participation. So, and we can think of strategies from that to overcome those. Physical activity declines from both sexes, and it's a 23% drop from the age of 15 when you get to the age of 16, which is a huge drop. And I'm going to be doing some research on why that is the case. The NHS annually is costing them 7.4 billion due to physical activity, which is something that we can easily avert, and we could save that money, and we can use that on other parts of the world and the country as well. And also satellite clubs. Look at, as I said before, it's mainly because for those who can't commit to those training or playing schedules from Sports England as well in 2017. And the behaviour of adults, which is very important to look into because of how as you're doing sporting activity, it really changes your adolescents' behaviour. It makes them more active, makes them socialise a bit more, so it benefits them as more of a character for future life, especially in adulthood, and also makes them feel more comfortable to be social and to play sport with other people. And so I'm going to be looking into why that's so important and why we can use strategies to help adolescents basically improve sport participation. So let me move over my face again so you can see this. So looking into enhancing the current knowledge. So we're looking into why people aren't still participating in sport, especially with these strategies already in place. How can we influence the target age criteria to change the perception in participation in sport? So thinking into what strategies, so like how we can make it more attractive to them, how it can be more rewarding, how we can influence them to feel like, oh my god, actually I've got to participate in sport because I don't want to be like this in the next 40 years of my life. And also looking into what strategies are implemented, what are their unique selling points, and I'm going to be doing a critical analysis of the strategies in place and how we can basically use those strategies, and what are the advantages and disadvantages of those strategies. And to collect my data, I'm going to be trying to get contacts from Active Knots and Bad Boys Boxing Gym, and also from Nottingham Trent University to try and figure out what are the motives of children participating in voluntary and public sport. And I'm going to be doing semi-structured interviews to collect as much qualitative data as I possibly can. So overall, the research question that I'm looking into is how community sports clubs managers create and implement strategies to increase sport participation from children aged 16 to 18-year-olds. So basically that's what I'm going to be looking into. Benefit from what I'm trying to research here, and how if someone wants to evaluate my dissertation, saying they can use my ideas, and hopefully we can tackle this issue of the decline in sport participation. So here are my references from what I've researched and gathered so far. Mainly it's been from Sports England, looking at values, but I'm also looking into how we can basically improve sports participation, how it can really change the world, how it can change the economy, how it can really benefit us in a positive way, and we can finally understand how important sports participation is, instead of because there's plenty of research looking into what we can think of how we can reduce the possibilities of obesity, looking into reducing the risk of diabetes, all these health conditions that can easily happen if you don't do the recommended amount of exercise per day or per week. So I'm going to be looking into that, and I'm hoping that this dissertation will come up very strongly, and hopefully it'll be very interesting to you guys as well. So thanks very much for listening to my presentation. Thank you.